An assembly. Could everyone please rise for the national anthem and the school song? Those involved in the garland to please come up.
Every day in the South Pacific, we encounter the effects of climate change. We see the rising sea levels, the land and homes being submerged and lost, and people displaced. The people who live within this region know how important this issue is and why we need to focus on it. We here at ISS also understand how important this issue is, as it will fall to our generation to help solve these problems, and that's why our focus for today is on this very important issue, climate change. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Afternoon. So we wanted to play a short game as an icebreaker. So it is a quiz consisting of 3 questions. So how it works is we'll ask a question and you guys can raise your hands and come up to this mic to say the answer. And if you get it right, you guys will get a bar of chocolate. So yeah, here's Spin and Baby gonna ask the questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we're question 1, please. Which planet's poisonous atmosphere has been described as a runaway greenhouse effect?
Please put your hand up if you know the answer.
Come up onto the stage.
Is it Jupiter?
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Anyone else has an idea? Put your hand up.
Is it Mercury?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Next contestant, please.
Blue shirt. Yes.
Is it Venus?
Correct. Can we get a question 2, please? Question 2. How long does it take for CO2 or carbon dioxide gases in the atmosphere to disperse? A, 50 years, B, 100 years, C, 10 years, D, 1 year. Correct. animal is currently the most at risk of extinction due to climate change? Now, American monarch butterfly. Is that answer, please put your hand up.
The polar.
Wrong.
Is it D?
Wait, D. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Everyone silent, please. I'm sorry.
C.
Wrong. B. Correct. Thank you, everyone.
In year 2, we are learning about climate change. We have been writing narratives to demonstrate our understanding of climate change. I would like to welcome Suliana on stage to read her narrative about the impact of climate change. The meat factory. Once there was a meat factory. He hated Earth. He did not know that he was harming Earth. He was burning oil and producing too much CO2 and other gases. One day he made even more oil, so much that it was spilling all over the place. It smelled terrible. The air turned black. Nobody could see anything, not even the factory. Oh no, thought the factory. What have I done? This is terrible. Nearby was a construction site. The biggest bulldozer moved around blindly, and suddenly there was a huge bang, and the main factory was no more. Everybody was put into quarantine for treatment. A week later, the air cleared, everybody was let out. What a mess! We have destroyed the main factory, said the builders. They cleaned up everything and rebuilt the main factory. He had learned his lesson.
And that is the farewell of one of our beloved teachers, Mrs. Megan Navuni Sarabi. Ms. Megan has been a teacher here at ISS for 14 years and has influenced the lives of many students who have passed through these rooms. We would like to invite Lucinda Sokai to the stage to say a few words on behalf of the students and to show our appreciation for her service, love, and commitment to the school over the last 14 years.
Ms. Megan joined the ISS family in 2006 simply as a biology teacher. In 2010, she was appointed the head of science department and became the IB coordinator. And 2 years later, in 2012, she became the head of high school of the Almighty. The first time I met Ms. Megan, I was a dewy-eyed year 7 student. I would always see her in the hallways giving people mild scoldings for wearing an incorrect jumper or wearing brightly colored shoes. Now at the time, I thought to myself, something along the lines like, how is this even remotely necessary? That was then. But as someone who has been able to work with Ms. Megan at a senior leadership level while still maintaining the status of a student, I can say with full confidence that she isn't half as appreciated for the work that she does. We've only been a head student team for a little over a term, but in this time we've come to greatly appreciate the work Ms. Megan has done for us. From our first handover ceremony to our very tumultuous leadership assembly, to our recent fundraisers and muftis, Ms. Megan has always been one of the first people we want to share ideas with. She has always been an operative and necessary part of our team, especially when you want our ideas to be heard and taken more seriously. To me, it's a little bit of a shame that she won't be here for the other events and fundraisers we plan on holding. But as you can all identify during these times, family does come first, even if it isn't our ISS family. I think one of the most unique things about being at ISS, especially if you've been there for such a long time, is forming the most unpredictable relationships with people and then saying goodbye to them in the same breath. I can only imagine the number of goodbyes Ms. Megan has had to have over the years, and I think it's now our turn to say goodbye to her. Now from a professional standpoint, saying farewell to Ms. Megan is a great setback for our events, fundraisers and the assemblies we want to hold. But from a more informal standpoint, saying goodbye to Ms. Megan is very difficult. To me, Ms. Megan has simply always been there, like I said, giving a mild scolding for a non-school jumper or brightly colored shoes. And adjusting to her absence is alien and heart-wrenching at the same time. Ms. Megan, on the behalf of the students and the head student team, thank you so much for your hard work. I don't think words can express how grateful we are to you, but thank you. I'd like to wish you all the best for you and your family. I'm a firm believer in remeeting the people that we usually say goodbye to, so this isn't truly goodbye, more like a see you later. So without further ado, Ms. Megan, Sotavare Kakite Ano, and see you later.
We would now like to welcome Dr. Kathers to the stage to say a few words on behalf of the staff and leadership.
Well, good afternoon. I guess I want to emphasize a couple things today. Usually our end of term 1 assembly is not a historic event. And we usually congratulate you on a good year so far. And of course, we urge you to rejuvenate yourselves during the break. It is usually very predictable. This year is different. First of all, we have just completed our first full term of normal school post-COVID. You've done very well. We've had classes, we've had activities, we've had some field trips, and now we've had some camps. If you remember back just a year ago, we did none of that. So this is a historic event, finishing our first full term 1 of normal school. Secondly, sorry, my phone went to sleep. So we've had a full year of what probably could be called disruption, chaos, the tragic pandemic. I believe we're getting close to the end. It is not over yet. But the fact that, the very, very fact that we are sitting here right now having this assembly means something. The fact that you can walk outside after the assembly and enjoy a beautiful day. You know, we had a few restrictions on things like that. And just today, just an hour ago, I got back from Year 9 camp in Benga Island, and it made me think that we went a whole year without anything like that. So we are getting back to normal. I think that a lot of you will be going away in the coming break time, at least for a few days with your families. Remember, we didn't do much of that either in the past year. So I think the coming weeks and months will increase all those normal activities. And so that makes this historic. And I think this year is going to become seen as one of our best years ever. Unfortunately, we just heard some mention of something that's going to make the next term difficult. Ms. Megan is going to be with family, and she's been here a long time and deserves to do whatever she wants. But we are going to miss her very much. I think everybody knows what a confident and knowledgeable and dependable leader Ms. Megan is. I can say honestly that if I ever want to absolutely know that something will be done, I ask Ms. Megan to do it. She's very dependable and she does everything well. I know that she sets very high standards for herself, and I believe she has set very high standards for students. And I know a few students out here right now have resented that from time to time because you were held accountable. We are all going to miss that. Our school has been better. Our school is what it is today because of Ms. Megan. I will say that categorically. Now, for all of us, I want to urge you to take the chances you have to thank Ms. Megan for her work and time here. And I also want to encourage all of you next term to move forward, embracing new things. We will probably have a few changes because we have to do things a different way without Ms. Megan. But just be brave and take it on. I think our school is going to be wonderful. For all you primary children, you are going to miss out on getting to work with Ms. Megan when you're in secondary. Sorry about that. But I believe we're going to try our best to be at least half as good as Ms. Megan was, and I think you're going to have a wonderful experience still. With that, I don't want to waste the hot afternoon here in this MPH, and so I just want to do that traditional congratulations to all of you on such a good term one effort and all the good things that you've done. It's unbelievable. So congratulations. And one last note, when we come back for term 2, all of you should have a special level of energy. This year is just starting to expand and get better and better, and I think that all of you should expect that and be ready for it. Now, thank you for term 1. Let's have a good term break. Let's do many, many things to rejuvenate ourselves. See, I slipped in those traditional messages. And with that, we are finished.
Have a great break and see everybody back in 2 weeks.
When I think of climate change, I think of the world in a very bad situation, such as rising temperatures in the earth. Also more weather conditions are also getting very bad, such as strong winds. Yeah.
I think there isn't just one thing, but everything can contribute to climate change. So factories, for example, everything we use comes from factories like cars, stationery, and all those contribute to climate change. Also modes of transport, like airplanes, cars, buses. So almost pretty much everything, new science discoveries. Although there are advantages, most of them are disadvantages.
I think we all do, because there's things that we do every day that we can't live without. Personally, I get a bus ride to school every day, and the exhaust coming out of the engines can hurt the ozone layer. And I know that my friends go through car, and then they also use spray cans for hairspray and other things like that. So I think we all do, but I think if more people knew about it, we would be able to cut down more and stop causing it every day. Yeah.
I would say I do contribute to climate change in a way, because sometimes I would not think of my actions and I would throw rubbish on the ground, and then
Yes, since I'm Fijian, the small islands of Fiji go underwater because of rising sea levels.
I think my country, Solomon Islands, is impacted by climate change a lot. For example, we work with this organization called TDA. It helps to monitor sea turtles, leatherback turtles, and dolphins and stuff. Yeah, and lately it has been cited that turtles would be washed down on the beach, and if we were to bury them, we would see that they would choke on some plastics, or there would be plastic inside of them.
My friend, who is a grand old village chieftain, has a face that is wise and weather-beaten. I visited his village not long ago, and thus began my tale of woe. His fishing village nestles on the seaside, within sight and sounds of lapping tide. When I arrived, the day shone bright, but immediately I sensed things weren't right. I asked him what the matter could be, and he gestured, "Come follow me." Down to the beach we walked side by side. By this time it was very low tide. Then with a sweep of his old weathered hand, he bade me survey the mangrove sand. I had no idea what the problem could be, but with growing awareness it dawned on me that at this time of day, with the tide way out, on the mud flats mangroves creatures should be about. By now hermit crabs should be crawling around, and fiddler crabs popping out of the ground. And where were the mudskippers of speedster fame? Why weren't they out playing dashing games? I shook my head in growing dismay, as he said it was like this every day. He said he'd noticed a gradual decline, and fewer creatures could he find. Added that the villagers fished night and day, fewer fish nowadays came their way. As I grimly waved my friend goodbye, I was determined to find the reason why. With heavy heart I journeyed on, but I'd not gone very far alone, when a building I'd noticed before stood wedged between the road and shore. I climbed out of my car to investigate, but was stopped by security at the gate. He pointed to the trespassers will be fined, and red letter dangers keep out signs. When securities turned his back, I slipped undetected through a crack. Then silently, stealthily I inspected, and behind the complex I detected waste pipes protruding long and straight, and just like poisonous evil snakes, a noxious toxic liquid spewed of a dark bar-colored hue, mingled then swept around the bay, the direction of which my friend's village lay. I spoke to the officials in high authority, and was reminded of all the important economy. So I alerted the media, newspaper and TV of the industrial threat to our seas. Even though I'm sure all could read, I fear nobody took any heed. I sent protests by post and internet, but not one iota of support did I get. In fact, everyone turned an apathetic blind eye. Last month I visited my chieftain friend. I could see his long life was nearing its end. He lay on his mat crippled and weak, with tears coursing down his wrinkled old cheeks. He spoke in a whisper of good days long ago. Now this was, unhappily, no longer so. See, they relied on for their livelihood, no longer supported them the way it should. His once flourishing village was now very poor, and conditions were such, and he would deplore. With his hand clasped in mine, it was his dying wish I'd continue to fight for the villagers who fish. Am I the only one with the foresight to see the need to protect our precious seas? For surely it's a national crime that our seas are polluted by industrial slime.